You are 9 years old, roughhousing in the dusty palace courtyard. Another boy, hyped up on medieval adrenaline, digs his filthy, unwashed fingernails deep into your right forearm. Blood wells up. You should be screaming. You should be crying. But you're just sitting there, staring at your own bleeding flesh like it belongs to someone else. You don't flinch. You don't react. Because you feel absolutely nothing. Your royal tutor is watching from the balcony, and his face instantly drops. He drags you inside, grabs a lit candle, and basically roasts your arm like a holiday ham. Still nothing. No pain, no heat. Just the smell of your own skin burning. His face goes completely white. He knows exactly what this means. You don't. Not yet. But your free trial of having a functional nervous system has just permanently expired. Welcome to 12th century Jerusalem. Your dad is the king of the holiest, most violently contested piece of real estate on planet Earth. You live in a massive stone palace, surrounded by enemies on literally every single side. You were born to sit on a throne of gold. But there is something microscopic growing inside your bloodstream. Something that is going to eat you alive while you are still breathing. You are 11 years old when a physician pulls you into a dark room and delivers the final verdict. He pokes your pale, numb skin with a needle. You feel nothing. He doesn't even need to say the word out loud. Leprosy. In the Middle Ages, this isn't a diagnosis. It's a medieval cancellation. There is no cure. Your skin will crack into weeping blisters. Your fingers will curl inward into rigid, useless meat claws. Your face will collapse. Usually, society throws you out like expired milk with a bell tied around your neck. But you are the heir to Jerusalem. The kingdom desperately needs a king, and your rotting, decomposing body is all they've got. By 13, your dad dies of dysentery. The crown is shoved onto your head. The greedy, wealthy barons kneel before you in the great hall. Most of them are just doing the medieval math in their heads. A sick, dying boy on the throne is an all-you-can-eat buffet of political opportunity. They look at you and see a shadow on borrowed time. And let's talk about the royal dating scene. Normally, being a teenage king in the 12th century is the absolute peak of the medieval Tinder algorithm. You should be drowning in arranged marriages and aggressively reproducing to secure the bloodline. But your dating profile is a literal medical horror story. There will be no royal honeymoon. You couldn't even feel a woman holding your hand. While the rest of the teenage nobility is discovering raging hormones and hooking up in the castle corridors, you are discovering that your nose is slowly collapsing into your skull. You are a virgin king, trapped in a rotting meat sack, completely starved of human touch. Your entire romantic life has been canceled by a flesh-eating bacteria. Because your reproductive system is permanently benched, the geopolitical stability of the Middle East now relies entirely on your sister's uterus. She needs to marry an alpha male who can protect the city when you turn to dust. So, who does she pick? A French knight named Guy de Lusignan, a man who possesses the tactical genius of a startled chicken and the massive, unearned ego of a modern podcast bro. But you don't have time to deal with your idiot brother-in-law. Out in the desert, Saladin, the most dangerous man on the planet, is unifying the Muslim world. And you, a teenage leper who can barely hold a spoon, are the only thing standing in his way. You are 16 when scouts report Saladin has crossed the border with 26,000 hardened warriors. You have 375 knights. The math is aggressively insulting. Military advisors beg you to hide behind the stone walls, but you refuse. You are actively rotting, but you are not a coward. You order the army to ride out. Your arm is so dead that a servant has to strap a heavy shield directly to it with leather belts just so you don't drop it. You intercept Saladin's massive army near a hill called Montchezard. They think you are cowering in your bedroom. You order the charge. Imagine being a Muslim soldier. You look across the desert, and charging right at you is a 16-year-old boy, his flesh literally decaying, leading a suicidal charge straight into your 26,000-man army. The impact is an absolute chaotic bloodbath. Saladin's undefeated army shatters. They scatter into the desert like terrified ants. Saladin himself only survives because he jumps onto a racing camel and sprints back to Egypt, completely humiliated. A teenage leper boy just annihilated the greatest general in the known world. For one glorious night, you forget the biological clock is ticking. But victory doesn't cure you. By 18, your throne room is a vulture enclosure. Your right hand is a useless paperweight. You are covered in thick linen bandages, looking like a heavily armored mummy. You have to be hoisted onto your horse like a sack of grain. Your sister's husband, the French idiot, is constantly positioning himself to snatch the crown off your decaying head. The barons treat your impending death like a fantasy football draft. You sit there, wrapped in bloody linen, watching the kingdom you bled for tear itself apart. Saladin is patient. He knows he just has to wait for your immune system to finish the job. By 20, your legs completely give out. Servants have to carry you into the throne room. Because your face is a terrifying, collapsed ruin of scar tissue, you start wearing a silver mask. If these greedy, scheming vultures want to stare at you, they get something cold, metallic, and completely devoid of emotion. Your body is a disaster zone, but your mind is a razor blade. When your idiot brother-in-law nearly starts a massive war by breaking a fragile truce with Saladin, you strike. You publicly humiliate him. You completely revoke his claim to the throne. You cannot walk, you cannot feed yourself, but you can still absolutely destroy a man's career from a sitting position. Then comes your final flex. You are 21. Saladin invades again, laying a brutal siege to a crumbling fortress. Your new regent gathers the army, but he gets scared. He refuses to attack. The defenders on the fortress walls are being slaughtered, and your army is just sitting there doing nothing. You hear the reports from your bed, and something inside your rotting chest absolutely snaps. You haven't walked in months. Your eyes are failing. You are in constant screaming agony, but you order your terrified servants to carry you out to the front lines on a wooden litter. The entire army turns and watches as you arrive. They have seen kings ride majestic stallions into battle. They have never seen a king carried onto a battlefield on a medieval stretcher. You can't hold a sword. You can't grip a horse. But you can still give orders, and these men would literally follow you into the mouth of hell. Your mere presence injects pure, unfiltered adrenaline into the entire army. They march. Saladin is standing outside the fortress. He looks at the horizon. He sees the banners of Jerusalem approaching. He sees that the crippled, half-dead leper king has arrived on a wooden board. And Saladin, the most powerful, terrifying warlord in the entire Middle East, looks at you, turns his massive army around, and literally walks away. He refuses to fight you. A blind, crippled guy on a stretcher just bullied the greatest conqueror alive into retreating without swinging a single sword. It is the most legendary display of raw aura in medieval history, and it is the last time you will ever see a battlefield. By 22, the light is permanently gone. You are totally blind. You rule Jerusalem in absolute suffocating darkness. Servants have to describe the room to you. Advisors read your letters out loud. You dictate the geopolitical strategy of the Middle East from a mattress that you will never leave again. Your body is completely unrecognizable. The disease has consumed everything. Every joint is swollen. Every breath feels like swallowing broken glass. But you still refuse to drop the crown. You force the barons to stand in your dark bedroom and swear loyalty to your sister's toddler, locking her idiot husband out of power. You know your kingdom is a fragile sandcastle, and Saladin is the ocean. But you bought them time with your own blood. You are 24 when the pain finally stops. Spring is blooming in Jerusalem, but you can't feel the sun. You can't hear the church bells. Your body has finally finished consuming itself. You held a fractured kingdom together through sheer psychotic willpower. You ruled through blindness, through rotting flesh, and through constant betrayal. You lived 100 lifetimes of agony in 24 short years. The crown is finally lifted from your destroyed head. And the ultimate darkly hilarious tragedy. Just 2 years after you die, the French idiot you spent your entire reign trying to sideline manages to seize power anyway. He marches the army into the desert, makes a catastrophically stupid tactical error, and loses the entire kingdom of Jerusalem to Saladin in a single afternoon. Everything you bled for, everything you sacrificed your body to protect, gone. Handed over by a guy you knew was an absolute moron. It sucks to be King Baldwin IV. Not because you were weak, not because you lost, but because you gave up literally every single human pleasure, sacrificed your flesh, your romance, and your eyes to hold the line, only to watch the healthy, beautiful people around you throw it all away the second you stop breathing.